Hello everyone, this is my first set of review for Mastery retakes, and the first one I'm going to focus on is scientific notation. So I'm going to go over a review how to do these type of problems, so scientific notation, Coulomb's law, and Kepler's law, and then you'll have a practice assignment for that if you're going to retake the quiz, and then after you submit the practice assignment, you can retake the quiz. So let's review scientific notation. Scientific notation is just a way to change big or small numbers to an easier read format. But we also could change it from the scientific notation to a normal number. So let's start with this first. We have 9 times 10 to the 9. And here's how I can convert it. Let me go to a different slide. So we have 9 times 10 to the 9. What I have to do is just basically, for a whole number, we have a decimal right here. Now you see that this exponent is 9. So that means, since it's a whole number, that means the number needs to be bigger. This is a positive number, so the number needs to be bigger than 0 point something, or 0, or 1. So this is going to be definitely like 9 billion. So we have to move 9 times to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and you add in the zeros. So your answer would just be 9 billion. That's supposed to be a 0, sorry. Let's try the other problem, 3.4 times 10 to the negative 4. Okay. So when we did the positive exponent, we went to the right because we know it has to be a big number. But since we're doing a negative exponent, we see it has to be a smaller number, so less than 1. So we're going to be dealing with small numbers this time. So you do the similar thing. You start at the exponent, so right here. And this time for a negative exponent, you go backwards. So we're going to go back 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put that here and just add those zeros. So you see our final answer when we convert this is just 0.00034. That's it. Okay. So now let me show you how to convert from a big number to an exponent, scientific notation. So for this, we see that we have around 1.5 billion, and we're going to change that to scientific notation. So let me write that number down and show you how to do it. 1, 5. Okay. So you can do the same thing as last time. We just start at the exponent. Since this is a whole number, it starts at the end. And this time we're going to just move it back until we have a number between 1 and 10. So I'll show you what that means. 1, 2, count how much times, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is where the exponent's going to be. So you see 1.5? 1.5 is bigger than 1, but it's smaller than 10, so that's where we'll stop. So we're going to have 1.5 times 10 to the number of times we've went backwards. So we went back 6 times. So that means, and this is a big number, so our exponent's going to be positive, 10 to the 6. Okay. Right. Then we're going to do this one, 0.00065. So I'll do that down here. Where's my, okay. We're going to do the same thing. This time we're going to deal with the small number. We start at the exponent right here and go until we get a number between 1 and 10. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 6.5 is more than 1, but less than 10. So the answer will be 6.5 times 10, and we moved right here 4 times, so it's 10 to the negative 4 since it's a smaller number. That's it for this. All right. Now I want to show you how to do some math related to scientific notation. So this is for multiplying two scientific notation numbers. So you have 2 times 10 to the 3 times 3 times 10 to the 5. This is a pretty simple way to do it. You're just going to multiply the non-exponent numbers together, which I'll show you, 2 and 3. Multiply the exponents together, where we add the exponents, and then combine both solutions. So let's do that. 2 times 10 to the, what was it again? 10 to the 3 and 3 times 10 to the 5. Okay. So we're going to start with the whole numbers. So whole numbers are just 2 and 3, so we're going to do 2 times 3. That gets us 6. Now let's do the exponents. 10 to the 3, 10 to the 5. 10 to the 3 times 10 to the 5. If you remember, you're supposed to add the exponents, so 3 plus 5, which is 10 to the 8th. You add the exponents when you're multiplying them together. So now you just combine those two. We just get the answer 6 times 10 to the 8th. So we multiply 2 times 3 to get the 6. We multiply 10 to the 3 times 10 to the 5, and we get 10 to the 8th. That's all I do for multiplication. Let me show you division. Division is similar things, except we're dividing. So 8 times 10 to the 9 over 2 times 10 to the 3. Let's do that. Okay. So we're going to do, sorry about this, these first, the whole numbers. So 8 divided by 2, which you should know is 4. Then we're going to do the exponents, which I'll highlight in blue. 10 to the 9 over 10 to the 3. So when you're dividing exponents, you're just going to subtract them instead of multiplying. So 10 to the 9 minus 3, which is 10 to the 6. And like last time, you just combine them together. That's a weird looking U. So 4 times 10 to the 6. That's your answer. We got the 4 by dividing 8 by 2. We got the 10 to the 6 by dividing 10 to the 9 divided by 10 to the 3. All right. Now let's do putting exponents on top of exponents. So we have 3 times 10 to the negative 5 to the power of 3. So we're going to do each of these individually like last time. So basically, you have to exponentiate the 3, the whole number, and exponentiate the exponents. And there's different ways to do them. All right. 3 times 10 to the negative 5 to the power of 3. Again, let's do the whole number. We're going to do 3 to the power of 3. So that's 3 times 3 times 3. We use the calculator, and that'll be 27. For the exponents, is a little bit different. 10 to the negative 5. Oops. When you exponentiate 10 to the negative 5 to the 3, it's 10 to the negative 5 times 3. So when you're doing exponents on top of exponents, it's multiplying. I know it's kind of confusing when we did the multiplication. So let me show you. Multiplication, we add them, but for exponents, we multiply them. That's just a math rule. So you get 10 to the negative 5 times 3, that's negative 15. Like last time, just combine these two together. We get 27 from the 3 to the power 3 times 10 to the negative 15, which we got from the 10 to the negative 5 times 10 to the 3. That's your answer. Now, the last thing for this is we can also combine these together so we can multiply and divide at the same time. So let me show you how to do this. 6 times 10 to the 10 times 3 times 10 to the 3. Divided by, 3 times 10 to the 15. Sorry. So we're going to do the same thing as last time, focus on the whole numbers and then the exponents. So you can do the same thing basically. With all the whole numbers, you can do the same pattern here. So you see we have 6 times 3 divided by 3. So just do this math. 6 times 3 is 18, divided by 3, that's 9. And then let's do the exponents. 10 to the 10 over 10 to the 3 over 10 to the 15. We can add the top part, 10 to the 13, because 10 to the 10 plus 3 is 10 to the 13, and 10 to the 15. So we get 10 to the 13 minus 15. You do that, you notice this we get a negative number, so it's 10 to the negative 2. And like last time, we just combine the two whole numbers. So this and this. So our final answer will be 9 times 10 to the negative 2. Okay. Now we'll do something different. Let me write that again. Let me see. Well, 6 times 10 to the, what was it? 10 and 3 times 10 to the 3. Okay. 3 times 10 to the 3 and 3 times 10 to the 15. Now, what happens if we put an exponent down here? A 2. This time we're going to have to include that exponent. So let's do this one again. Oops. Whole numbers and then exponents. The first thing you actually want to do is, oops. The first thing you want to actually do is actually distribute this. So 3 to the power 2, we know it's going to be 9, and 10 to the 15 times 2 is 10 to the 30. So now we only have the whole numbers without the exponents. We just changed the exponent. We just exponentiated what's inside here. So now we can do the whole number things. So 6 times 3 divided by 9, we get 18 divided by 9, which this time is 2. Now when we do the exponents, we have 10 to the 10, 10 to the 3, and this time 10 to the 30, because 15 times 2. So it'll be the same thing, 10 to the 13 over 10 to the 30, except this time it's going to be 13 minus 30, which is 10 to the negative 17. 13 minus 30 is negative 17. So like last time, we just combine these two. So that means this answer would be 2 times 10 to the negative 17. So you can see that adding the exponent changes the answer a lot. So that's how you do it with actually all 3 of the things: multiplying, division, and exponents. All right. There should be a practice assignment after this, just to practice scientific notation. Like I said, you have to submit that before you want to take the retake if you're going to do it. All right. If you're gonna, the next one will be, if you're gonna retake that one too, is Coulomb's law. So I'll see you then.